Okay fellas, so as you can see, I got my grubby mitts on the new Curado 150M, and this is all thanks to Lake Pro Tackle. Now I sent those guys an email asking them if they would send me out the Curado 150M to review, and then a few days later, here it is. So I want you guys to leave a big thanks in the comments section to Lake Pro Tackle for sending this out to me to do some videos on and to show you guys what this reel can do. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave a link pinned at the top of the comments section that'll lead you directly to the Lake Pro Tackle website where you can pick up your Curado 150M, as well as a link to their YouTube channel. And Lake Pro Tackle is known for their extremely quick shipping, and they have a big selection of JDM tackle as well, and I'm pretty sure that means no tariffs. So let's get started with this unboxing and analysis of Shimano's latest Curado 150M. Now this is just a refresh of the original Curado 150 MGL that came out in 2021, and that was a reel that nobody really asked for or saw coming. But it turns out that it is probably the best all-around Curado ever made, and it is one of Shimano's best-selling reels. So it's a very important reel for Shimano, as this new 150M has got big shoes to fill. And also what's important about the Curado 150 is that there is no Japanese JDM equivalent. So, you know, if you want a METANIUM, you can go order it from Japan. If you want an ANTARES, if you want an ALDEBARAN, you can order from Japan and save some money. But with the Curado 150, it is not available in Japan. This is an American market reel. And with that being said, let's pull the reel out and get right into it. Alright, so typical Shimano deep green box. And yeah, Shimano has definitely changed up how they package their reels now. There's a lot of cardboard inside to keep the reel in place. And I guess that's because they don't include the reel in like bubble wrap anymore. But yeah, I'm gonna throw this aside, and pow, check this reel out. Now once again, back in 2021, no one really asked for a 150 size Curado, so it was a big surprise when Shimano came out with it, because we had the 200 and then we also had the 70 for finesse, but the 150 combined the best of both worlds, and here we are with the latest refreshed updated version. So since the previous reel was a bestseller, do you guys see any difference between this reel and the old reel? I can spot a couple of differences, but with that being said, let's do a visual comparison now. Alright, so here's the old Curado 150 and here's the new one, and side by side you can definitely see that there are some differences. Now it is sporting the same frame, same side plates, but the frame has changed from black to silvery gray. Side plates are still green, but I think on the new 150M they may be a little bit lighter, not so dark. You can see the spool went from black to green, and then on the old reel the drag star and handle are silver, and the spool tension has some silver accents as well as logo. But on the new M, drag star and handle are now that root beer brown color, as well as green accents on a root beer brown spool tension. And looks like they ditched the MGL logo. Kind of disappointing, but since it is the same frame, this reel is extremely low profile and comfortable to palm, and it is very lightweight, and I think it's probably the second lightest Curado, running neck and neck with the BFS. but they got the same oversized Septon grips, same chrome end caps, which is good. And yeah, personally I think they should have given the new 150M like a different color scheme, probably like silver or dark gray, because from a distance, if you saw these two reels side by side, you really wouldn't be able to tell which one was which. But there are really only two things Shimano did to update this new M over the old MGL. Now the first one is they went from a, I guess, CI4 Plus fancy graphite drag star on the old reel to a metal machined aluminum one on the new reel. It's got that classic swept design that Shimano uses. I personally think they should have made it bigger, but maybe in the next model. But smoothness wise, the new reel feels a little bit more rigid and precise. That could be because it's brand new. But the only other change, and this is the big one, is Shimano going from the MGL2 spool to the MGL3 spool. And when Shimano reels go from the MGL2 to the MGL3, they tend to get a significant boost in performance, which I'm going to show you guys out on the water in the casting video. But what I'm going to do now, of course, is I'm going to get some weights and we're going to check out the spool and see if it lost any kind of weight versus the old reel, like I always do. So of course the first thing we're going to do is get a quick weight comparison of both reels. And I'll have to say that even though Lake Pro Tackle sent me out the HG ratio, it feels a little bit heavier than my first generation MGL. But let's find out. Alright, so here's the original reel. 6.66 ounces. And here's the new M. 6.74, so almost a tenth of an ounce heavier. And I'm not sure, well, I think I know where that weight came from. It's got to be the metal machined aluminum drag star versus the graphite CI4 Plus one. But now we're going to get into the most important upgrade, of course, and that's going to be up the spool. So to access the spool of the new M, just like the old reel, pop this latch. Of course it is attached and spring loaded, and let's check this out. I am so glad that Shimano stuck with the 6-arm SVS Infinity, which was a huge factor in making the old 150 the best all-around performing Shimano reel, probably out of all of them. Alright, here's the new MGL3 spool. As you can see, there's hardly any portholes. There's a silent tune O-ring, and here's the old spool. And let's see here. You can see that the old spool was definitely full of portholes on the sidewalls, in the center, and I think they kept the same spool diameter, and strangely enough, they kept the same width. Now that's strange because one of the features of the MGL3 spool is that it's not as wide as the old MGL2 spools. So yeah, wonder why they did that. But when I'm doing this, it feels like the new spool is actually heavier than the old spool. But you can see the reel came with 3 brake arms activated, 3 brake arms deactivated from the factory. But yeah, let's get a weight comparison on these spools and see what's what. So of course the spool scales out, and would it be a big disappointment if the new spool is heavier than the old spool? On paper, yes. Out on the water, we'll have to see. So of course the original 150 MGL spool coming in at 12.87 grams. Alright, the new one. Okay, I was right. It is heavier, coming in at 13.44 grams. So over half a gram increase in weight, and I'm not sure why Shimano did that. More than likely it's because if they made the new spool even lighter, you'd be coming really close to the METANIUM as far as spool weight goes. Now, gaining weight is a big disappointment, but in the grand scheme of things, 13.4 grams is still very lightweight for an all-around bass reel. And keep in mind, its main competitor, the TATULA SV100 with the boost spool, also gained a significant amount of weight versus the previous reel. But one thing I did want to show you guys was that in this version of Silent Tune, Shimano put a total of 3 O-rings on the spool instead of 2 for the old reel. So you got 1, you got 2, hopefully you guys can see that O-ring down there, and then you got this big O-ring right here, and that was the one that was missing from the old spool. So the new spool should gain some kind of increase in casting smoothness, because Shimano's O-ring Silent Tune is a technology that actually provides something you can feel out on the water. But with that being said, I'm going to do something that a lot of you guys I know are going to be curious to find out, and that is to see if the new spool will fit into the old reel. And I'd be very surprised if it did. Shimano usually always does something to where... Oh, whoa. Alright, this is strange. Usually Shimano engineers some kind of fail-safe to keep people from inter-swapping spools. It seems to work. Uh-oh. Huh. Anyway, since the new spool fits right into the old frame, it comes as no surprise that it is still 32 millimeters in diameter. So there we go, guys. The quick and dirty tabletop review and analysis of Shimano's latest Curado 150M. And a lot of you guys may think of this as a super lazy effort from Shimano, but I look at it like this. The original 150 was such a dominant and complete reel. I mean, no reel around its price point could come close to what that reel could do. And I'm not surprised Shimano didn't want to make too many changes and mess with that formula. But the changes they did make, namely the change up to the MGL3 spool, should prove to be a benefit. So of course, what that means is I'm going to string this reel up, cast it around, tell you my impressions, and then we're going to compare it side by side with the old reel and do some cast measurements, see if the new 150M can follow in the footsteps of the METANIUM, the BANTAM, and the Curado 200, and outperform the older versions of those reels because of the switch up to the new MGL3 spool. Now once again, shout out to Lake Pro Tackle. Let them know in the comments section that you appreciate them sending this reel out to me. And let me tell you this, guys, a lot of tackle shops and companies contact me wanting to do, I guess, some kind of a partnership deal or collaboration, but they always stick these stipulations to try to change me into some kind of a salesman, which I'm not. But with Lake Pro Tackle, I just shot them an email, and then within a couple of days, the reel was here, and they understand that I'm going to do the reviews on my terms. So once again, give them some love in the comment section, and all their information will be pinned at the top of the comments. Alright guys, thanks a lot.